You won't believe what just happened. One man, 4 women. A secret so deadly it killed him, and now millions are at war over who destroyed who. Women are crying, men are defending, families are splitting, and the truth, it's darker than anyone imagined. The Polygamist just triggered the most explosive debate of 2026, and what I discovered will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and blame. But here's the twist nobody saw coming, and it changes everything. Right now, across continents, living rooms have turned into debate halls. Social media is on fire, and Netflix's The Polygamist sits at the center of a cultural earthquake that's shaking relationships to their core. Since June 2026, this show has done something extraordinary. It's not just entertainment anymore. It's a mirror forcing millions to confront uncomfortable truths about power, forgiveness, and the devastating cost of staying silent. Stick with me, because at the 9-minute mark, I'm revealing the scene that changed the entire conversation, plus the psychological pattern most people completely miss.
Meet Jonasi Gomora, wealthy businessman, magnetic charm, the kind of presence that commands rooms and turns heads. But beneath the tailored suits and confident smile, a man building an empire of lies so intricate that when it collapsed, it buried everyone around him. Now here's where this gets absolutely insane. Jonasi isn't managing one relationship or even 2, he's simultaneously maintaining 4 distinct romantic entanglements. Joyce, his public-facing wife who curates their glamorous lifestyle for thousands, Essie, hidden away as a secret second wife, raising a daughter while competing for scraps of attention, Matipa, strategic and ambitious who calculated her way from mistress to wife, and Lindani, younger, drawn into the chaos like gravity pulling her in. Each woman believes she's different. Each woman thinks she holds a special place. Each woman sacrifices peace, dignity, sometimes health itself, waiting for the moment he finally chooses her completely. And Jonasi, he orchestrates this symphony of suffering with terrifying skill. The show, adapted from Sue Nyathi's powerful novel, doesn't flinch from showing us the mechanics of manipulation. We watch him divide time with precision, craft lies that sound like truth, make promises he never intends to keep, deploy charm as a weapon. One analysis described him as a man who measures his worth not through authentic connection, but through conquest, through how many hearts he can collect while keeping his own protected. But wait, it gets darker. Jonasi's recklessness extends beyond emotional devastation. His refusal to practice safe intimacy, his arrogance in believing consequences apply to others but never to him, his pattern of exposing partners to health risks they never consented to, and ultimately, HIV-related complications claim his life. That's the brutal endpoint of this story, but by the time death arrives, the destruction is already catastrophic. Families fractured, children traumatized, women carrying scars that will never fully heal. Reviews emphasize a chilling reality. Jonasi faces minimal accountability throughout his life, no real consequences, no genuine remorse, no transformation. He continues his patterns because the system surrounding him allows, even enables the behavior. One viewer wrote, "Watching Jonasi is like watching a slow-motion car crash. You see disaster approaching, but everyone involved keeps moving toward impact." His son, Menzi, mirrors these exact patterns, treating women as conquests, dodging responsibility, proving that destruction doesn't die with the destroyer. It replicates generation after generation until someone breaks the cycle. But here's the question dividing millions. If Jonasi is the architect, who helped him build? And that's not all. Wait till you see what the women's roles reveal.
This is where the conversation explodes into absolute chaos. Are these women innocent victims ensnared by circumstance and manipulation, or did their choices actively sustain the toxic system that eventually destroyed them? The debate is fierce, and the answers are painfully complex. Let's examine each woman's journey. Joyce lives in the spotlight. Influencer lifestyle, designer everything, picture-perfect posts projecting marital bliss. But behind the curated images, humiliation, suspicion, the gnawing knowledge that her husband strays. Yet she stays. Why? Multiple factors interlock: financial security, social status, the children's stability, fear of public failure in an age where everyone's watching, cultural messaging that tells women to endure, to forgive, to hold families together regardless of personal cost. Joyce forgives repeatedly, each betrayal followed by reconciliation, each promise to change followed by identical patterns. And here's the painful truth. Every forgiveness without boundaries becomes permission. Every return without consequences teaches him the behavior is acceptable. Essie carries perhaps the heaviest secret. She conceals her daughter's true paternity, maintaining an elaborate deception to preserve Jonasi's attention and resources. She exists in shadows, accepting whatever fragments of affection he offers. Her enabling manifests through silence, through covering tracks, through making herself smaller, less demanding, easier to ignore. She competes invisibly with other women, hoping if she just endures long enough, demands little enough, she'll win. But there are no winners in this scenario. Matipa approaches the situation strategically. She's ambitious, calculated, determined. She transitions from mistress to wife through careful maneuvering. She knows about the others, but believes she can outcompete them. Her enabling is active, participatory. She plays the game, thinking intelligence and strategy will secure victory. She invests years into a position that was never meant to provide security.
Lindani enters younger, perhaps more naive initially, but she doesn't stay naive. She sees the red flags, recognizes the patterns, yet remains. The intoxicating feeling of being chosen by someone powerful, the promises of a different future, the hope that she can be the one who changes him. Now here's what multiple analyses reveal, and this is critical. These women aren't stupid, they're not weak, they're not failures, they're human beings navigating impossible systems designed to trap them. Think about the forces at work: patriarchal structures telling women their value lies in marriage and motherhood, economic realities where leaving means potential poverty, losing homes, pulling children from schools, social stigma around divorce or failed relationships, cultural pressure whispering, give him a baby to secure your place, endure for the children, a man will be a man. One viral post captured this perfectly. We're not watching fiction, we're watching ourselves. How many of us stay because starting over at 35, 40, 45 feels impossible? How many of us forgive because we've invested a decade and walking away means those years were wasted? The economic dependence angle is particularly brutal. Many women don't control household finances, don't own property in their names, can't access credit independently. So leaving means potential destitution. But, and this is where the debate intensifies, when does survival strategy become active enabling? When does hoping for change transform into participating in your own destruction? When does protecting children actually harm them by modeling that abuse is acceptable? This show forces this confrontation. These women lose years. They lose health to infections they never consented to risk. They lose dignity competing for a man who views them as interchangeable. They lose peace, living in constant anxiety. And still, Jonasi faces minimal consequences until his death. No accountability, no growth, no real change. The pattern continues because everyone around him allows it to continue. A relationship expert quoted extensively online said, "Forgiveness without boundaries isn't virtue, it's self-destruction disguised as love. It's teaching someone that harming you carries no cost." That statement has been shared tens of thousands of times because it articulates what many feel but struggle to express. So, are the women to blame, partially responsible, or doing their best within systems designed to trap them? This question has people arguing for days. But that's not all. Wait till you hear how the public responded. Certain scenes didn't just entertain, they devastated. Let me walk you through the moments that had millions posting through tears. The HIV diagnosis scene. The camera captures Jonasi receiving results, his face shifting from trademark arrogance to genuine fear. The realization that consequences are real, immediate, inescapable. Viewers reported physical reactions, chills, nausea, sudden clarity about the stakes. The immediate questions flooding comments. Who else is infected? Will he tell his partners? Will this finally trigger change? Spoiler, change comes too slow and too late. The wives' confrontation, an explosive meeting where secrets unravel in real time. Women who competed in shadows suddenly face each other. The raw pain, the misdirected anger, the gradual agonizing realization they're all victims of the same man. Viewers called this scene gutting. Watching women who could have been allies, who could have protected each other, turned against each other through masterful manipulation. The wasted energy spent fighting each other instead of holding the actual perpetrator accountable. Essie's paternity revelation, when the truth about her daughter emerges and we watch the foundation crumble. An entire relationship built on deception. Jonasi's explosive rage, Essie's desperate attempts to justify, the child caught in the crossfire. Menzies' parallel journey, Jonasi's son replicating his father's exact patterns, treating women as conquests, dodging responsibility, measuring manhood through sexual prowess and emotional unavailability. This devastated viewers because it illustrated generational curses. Children don't just witness dysfunction, they absorb it, normalize it, and perpetuate it. The cycle continues until someone consciously breaks it. The death scene. Jonasi's final moments surrounded by the wreckage of his choices. No redemption arc, no deathbed wisdom, no last-minute growth, just consequences arriving exactly as promised. Reactions split. Some found it satisfying, justice served. Others found it tragic, a life wasted. But consensus emerged. This is the inevitable endpoint of unchecked destructive behavior. The aftermath episodes, the final installments showing wives and children navigating post-Jonasi existence, the ongoing trauma, financial struggles, health scares, fractured family dynamics. This gutted viewers most. No tidy resolution, no closure, just people picking up pieces, realizing years were stolen, attempting to rebuild from rubble. A reaction video that accumulated millions of views showed a woman pausing the finale to say, "We convince ourselves we're just enduring until things improve, but what if we're just losing time we'll never recover? What if the better we're waiting for never comes? What if endurance isn't strength but fear disguised?" So here's my final analysis, and I genuinely want your perspective. Jonasi Gomora bears primary blame. Absolutely. He architects a system serving only himself. He initiates deception, exploits vulnerabilities, refuses growth despite clear harm. His choices directly cause suffering, disease, death. But critically, the women aren't powerless. Some actively enable cycles through repeated boundary-free forgiveness, competition instead of collaboration, silence instead of exposure. Not because they're weak, but because larger systems make those choices seem rational, necessary. This doesn't excuse Jonasi, it contextualizes responses. The real villain transcends individuals. Its interlocking systems of patriarchy, economic inequality, cultural pressure, social stigma, making these tragedies predictable. The massive global reaction, protests, debates, tears, rage, signals something shifting. Women demanding more, men being challenged to evolve, communities questioning harmful traditions. Will this shift translate to concrete change? That depends on what we do with the discomfort. So, I'm asking, what's your take? Is Jonasi fully to blame, or did the women enable disaster? More critically, what systemic changes would prevent these tragedies? Drop your perspective in comments. Team Jonasi is the villain, team everyone shares blame, team the system is the problem. Hit subscribe because we're continuing controversial deep dives, topics having the internet divided.